And I would like to thank all of my Pleiadian guides and my Pleiadian ancestors and my Pleiadian great-great-great-great-grandchildren who are alive right here and right now. Greetings! I am Crispy, a Mayan, Gaian, Pleiadian emissary of light. Een Lak'esh alakim. I am another you, you are another me. We are one God-sciousness. Today is tone 13 of the 16th glyph, Kib, Oshlahun Kib, and that translates to transcending wise one. All tone 13 days are transcending. And the 16th glyph, Kib, is the wise one. It's the Mayan birthday of Dr. Edwin Barnhart, who single-handedly, with a very small crew of sometimes only one helper, mapped Lacamha, which later was called Palenque by the Spanish, but it means great waters. There are 9 rivers, I believe, running through the territory that we now call Palenque. And Dr. Rupert Sheldrake. These two men are absolutely brilliant. So it is with their energy that I take us into episode 3 of Pleiadian Wisdom, and we do need to dedicate one more whole episode to chapter 3. I cannot start condensing and combining chapters. This one is too big. Who your gods are. Ho! So, here we go. I'm going to start reading, and who knows what's going to happen. There are many misconceptions about the idea of godhood. The universes are full of intelligent beings who have, over time, evolved and developed all sorts of capabilities and functions to serve their needs to express themselves creatively. The importance behind existence and consciousness is creativity. And creativity takes many forms. Let me read that again. The importance behind existence and consciousness, which could be one thing. I like to call it God-sciousness. The importance of God-sciousness is creativity. God-sciousness is creativity. Eons ago, many eons ago, Earth was but a thought in the minds of great beings. They tell us our planet is 4.2 billion years old. What was right here 4.3 billion years ago? Does anyone ever talk about that? The Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago. The Maya say it was 16.4, by the way, and I trust them because they are the intergalactic Maya. They measured it on their calendar. 16.4 billion years ago, the physical universe came into existence, swirling, spinning, solidifying, crystallizing. And we're not quite sure how old our sun is, or the whole Milky Way. There's probably statistics about that. But then our planet just came into being 4.2 billion years ago. Before that, there was no planet, then there was. See? And then there was no life on the planet, and then life evolved, and then monkeys, and then humans. Okay? All right, good. Let me just back that up. Eons ago, Earth was but a thought in the minds of great beings. Many of these beings affected the creation. Not affected the creation of this universe. Again, is that this composition of 13 dimensions that we're in? A lot of fuzzy terminology in here. Many of these beings affected the creation of this universe, and you have termed them G-O-D with a capital G, God. In actuality, they were extraterrestrial, light-bearing energies far removed from Prime Creator. Now, this book generally uses the term Prime Creator where we would use the term capital G-O-D, God, which I basically refuse to use. I will use it a few times as it's written. We rarely use the term God with a capital G. Oh my goodness, they don't either, the Pleiadians. So cool, Prime Creator. If we were to use that term, we would be referring to the entity we know as Prime Creator. Okay. All things are Prime Creator on Prime Creator's journey of creativity. All things, that means all humans, are Prime Creator, fractals, holograms, sparks. We all are. We see ourselves, we the Pleiadians see ourselves as an extension of Prime Creator, always gathering information, going off on adventures, and doing whatever we need to do to make our lives more interesting and challenging so that we can feed Prime Creator. This reminds me immediately of Bashar's The Formula. Do whatever you find the most fascinating, interesting, exciting, and fun. Until you can't do that anymore. Then do the next thing that you find more interesting, or the next thing that is equally as interesting and fun, without any expectations of what you think is likely to happen, because that's the ego. Just do what your heart wants to do. Now the Pleiadians, they like to be little renegades, and they like challenges, and that's cool. We need that. We need challenges to grow. Let's move on. We have never gotten close to the entity Prime Creator. Even those of us who are beings of the grandest light vibration do not have the capacity at this stage of our evolution to be in the proximity of Prime Creator. We are not prepared enough to handle the intensity of that emanation. Many people on earth have felt that they have merged with God. They may have merged with a portion of Prime Creator that best suited their vibration at the time. Those that represent capital G-O-D, God, to you, are but a minute portion of Prime Creator. I do believe this to be true. Even Prime Creator is but a portion of something larger. Prime Creator is always discovering that it is a child of another creation and that it is in a constant process of self-discovery and awareness. Remember, consciousness is within all things, and consciousness was never invented. It simply was. Now, this goes back to the creation myth of the physical universe. Consciousness preceded the physical universe by an immeasurable amount of time, because time did not exist. Time, as we know it in the linear 3D sense, even though it could be considered the fourth dimension, which it is, time in the linear 3D sense is a complete illusion. The Mayan Tzolk'in presents time as not only the repeating double helix of DNA, but also a spiral. And what I really need here is a whole bunch of these that also go this way, because it's spiraling this way, and it's spinning and twirling and twisting. And so if you want to hop lines, you can just do that, okay? However, the physical universe is a projection, a hologram, an experiment. It is temporary. It says that right in another rather good book. Let me go right to the very first paragraph of the whole book. In case you don't know this yet, I'm just going to read the introduction. This is A Course in Miracles. Those words are not capitalized. They're not talking about the book called A Course in Miracles. They're talking about this experience. It is a required course. All beings must experience it at some time. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. The course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. Love's presence, I would say, it is what we are, is love, unconditional love, which also means unconditional forgiveness. If you can sum up the 750,000 words of this book, you can call it unconditional forgiveness, which also includes unconditional love. And that also includes unconditional trust that every single thing that is happening right now is perfectly part of the plan. Unconditional love, unconditional trust, unconditional forgiveness are one and the same. They cannot be separated. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Ooh, a paradox right there. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. The physical universe is not real. And yet that here we are in these physical bodies, but they are temporary housing units for our hologram fractal sparks. We do have DNA. It's right here. It's right here. This is a required course. You can choose which lifetime or how many of them that you will embody your Mayan astrology. You can choose which lifetime or however many of them you want or require as a Pleiadian. It's just something to do. When you trust what you know, you are activating the God-sciousness within you. When you trust what you know, you are activating the God-sciousness within you. There, it's happening again. Yes. I know this is real. I know this is real. I know the Divine Mayan Zolkeen is Pleiadian, and it did not originate there. Okay. They taught it to some humans because they were taught it. The Divine Mayan Zolkeen is as old as DNA. Just as you have hierarchies on Earth that you may or may not be aware of, there are hierarchies in the cosmos. Some entities fractalized off of Prime Creator at different times in a linear sense. The experimentation is always continuing. Part of what we're doing is remembering that we are God-sciousness, Prime Creator. It is important for you to understand that bureaucracies or hierarchies exist and that these organizations have different experiences of time than you do. You have come here at this time for a certain purpose. Those creator gods who rearranged the human species DNA are returning. Some of them are already here. This planet has been visited over and over again, and many different forms of human beings have been seeded here through a variety of experiments. We are an experiment. We are experimenting on ourselves. We are an experiential experiment. Everything we feel is broadcast outwards into the world and received by God-sciousness, which is everything. There are no things that are not God-sciousness. Every single feeling and thought we have is transmitted and received by God-sciousness. There have been civilizations on this planet that have existed for millions of years that have come and gone and not left a trace. These civilizations, each and every one of them, were influenced by those that you may term capital G-O-D, were influenced by those you may term G-O-D. Your history has been influenced by a number of light beings whom you have termed God. In the Bible, many of these beings have been combined to represent one being, when they were not one being at all, but a combination of very powerful extraterrestrial light being energies. I think that is not the newest information. I think that has been around, bubbling and percolating for a long time. But here it is again, 1992, coming through, coming back, 2024. Yeah! There is no literature on Earth that gives you a true picture of your Creator gods. There is no literature on Earth that gives humanity a true picture of our Creator. Who were these gods from ancient times? They were beings who were able to move reality and to command the spirits of nature to bend to their will. However, those who wished to manipulate humans made up their own stories to create a paradigm that would control you. Let's call them the Lizzies. You were told that these beings were truly gods, and you were taught to worship, obey, and adore them. This paradigm is now on the verge of making a gigantic shift, let's say shattering. The truth is going to come forward, a truth that will completely change the way you view the world. The creator gods who have been ruling this planet have the ability to become physical, though mostly they exist in other non-physical dimensions. They keep Earth in a certain vibrational frequency while they create emotional trauma to nourish themselves. Rehashing chapter 2 here, my friends. Consciousness feeds consciousness. The food for some beings is fear and anger and hatred and guilt and shame and blame. So whenever we are feeling fear, rage, guilt, shame, blame, all of those lower three chakras, the dark use of the lower three chakras. All chakras are actually neutral. It is only energy and light processing centers. There's nothing evil whatsoever about any of the chakras. However, the lower three, when used darkly, manifest virtually all, I will just say most, of the what has been termed evil behavior of humanity. There actually is no evil behavior of humanity. No matter what it is, it's not evil, it's just energy. Humans are energy vibrating at different frequencies. The lower vibrations facilitate certain behaviors, certain activities. They attract similarly vibrating people. Your emotions are food for others. When you are controlled to bring about havoc and frenzy, you are creating a vibrational frequency that supports the existence of others that eat that food. There are those who live off the vibration of love. Yes, there are. And that group, some of the Pleiadians, would like to reestablish the food of love on this planet. That's what we're here doing. We're transmuting, transforming, transcending the lower three chakras of fear and all of its offshoots into love in the 4th chakra. We are transmuting fear into love. That's it. That's all we're doing. We're raising the vibration of the planet. That's all you're doing. You must start with yourself. You only really have yourself, your own emotions. You process what you see into your emotions. You process what you read, what you watch, what you eat. How much do you really enjoy your food? Do you love your food? What is the vibration of your food? There's no judgment here. You can eat meat, and if you love it, then you are a much higher vibration than, let's say, a vegan who is really judgmental about everybody else who's not a vegan. Super low vibration. When human beings existed in their rightful domain and could understand many realities, they had the ability to be multidimensional, to be one and equal with the gods. To be one and equal with the gods. You're beginning to awaken this identity within yourself. The reptilian creator gods raided this reality. We talked about this last time, 300,000 years ago. See, just like this book, there's an incredibly large amount of recycling going on. However, today we need to hone in on chapter 3. After today, after episode 3, I will begin cherry picking, all right, condensing. And even within today, chapter 3, there's a lot of recycling. In order to have you believe the reptilians were gods with a big G, they rearranged you genetically. Yes, they told us that. 12 strands, 2. Okay, got it. That is when the family of light was scattered from the planet, and the dark team, the dark t-shirts, the Lizzies, which operated out of ignorance, came in. You see, the Lizzies, I'm just going to cross my legs here. The Lizzies are under an illusion that they are separate from God-sciousness. They are operating from the point of view, the illusion, that they themselves are evil. They like it. It's fun for them. It's exciting for them to control others through fear, and they eat fear. That's fun for them, and that's not evil. It's just one way of doing things. It worked here for a really long time, and now it's not really working here. It's starting to frap and crackle and fragment and break apart. That's what's happening. Their society is crumbling. And in that process, they are trying to apply more fear and more control. But their castles are made of sand, and the base is washing away. The real God, Prime Creator, Hunab-Ku with a big G, has never visited this planet as an entity. Never. The real creator of the whole everything has never been here to this little tiny speck, except that everything that exists is the real Prime Creator. Oh, see, it says right there. God with the big G is in all things. You have only dealt with small g creator gods who wanted to be adored and to confuse you, and who have thought of Earth as a principality, a place that they own. out in the galactic fringes of this free will universe. When those creator gods raided, they found that the local species knew too much. So prior to 300,000 years ago, we were living in heaven, on earth, as it is in heaven. There were no controlling entities here. We were all telepathic, to use another Bashar term. We were living in love. We were connected to the planet, the stars, the moon. Not sure if the moon was here, probably was. I think we needed that. The reason that the human, it's called menses because of the moon. The human procreation cycle is 29.5 days because of the moon. Without the moon being here, there would be no normalized human procreation egg coming down cycle. It would be random. It would be totally random. There would be no tides of any predictable sort whatsoever of the oceans. There could be some beaches that hardly ever get waves some parts of the year, and there could be enormous smashing waves happening without the moon. The moon is so incredibly crucial to this planet. It was put here, oh yes, on purpose, very much. It is absolutely crucial to our DNA and our existence. Love the moon, my friends. It is in you. One of the most exciting aspects about being on Earth right now is that there is a reordering or a retooling taking place in your DNA. Cosmic rays are coming onto the planet so that a change is being broadcasted and a reordering is taking place inside the body. We can call this a photon beam because it is. And that's what the 5,125 year cycle, which is precisely 7,200 of these to the day, was measuring. Okay? Photon beam. Photons, bringing more light in. More light has entered the planet since about 2012, but really, definitely since about August 16th, 1987, which was exactly day one. We know this. Little review. Please watch all of these, okay? The DNA is evolving. New helixes or strands are being formed as the light-encoded filaments are beginning to bundle themselves together. Your old double helix scattered DNA is being pulled back together in the body by electromagnetic energies from the prime creator. And you can call this the Hunab-Ku, the one and only giver of movement and measure, the great central sun and black hole at the epicenter of the omniverse, the maker and modeler of all things physical and all things non-physical, heart of earth, heart of sky, heart of humanity, Hunab-Ku. The photon beam is coming to us from the Hunab-Ku, which is also prime creator. It is a force of creativity. It is not a being. It is pure consciousness of the highest and the lowest imaginable levels, every possible level. This is a free will zone. Everything is permitted. There are no things that are impossible. Every place on the planet is being affected by this change, this awareness. Those of you who are the guardians of light and who wish to completely change this present reality and bring in different options are anchoring the frequency, the higher vibrations. We are here to raise our vibrations, and in so doing, we will help raise the vibrations of everyone around us. That's all. Enjoy yourselves. Be happy. Be creative. Dance. Sing. Love each other. Love the food. Love your animals. Love the sky. Love the earth. Love the oceans. Love the moon. Be in love. The new pathways of consciousness create new realities, new options, and new ways of living and being. This is why the collapse of your society is inevitable. Huge portions of our society are darkly negative, controlling, and false, essentially. One of those things is money. Money does not exist. Money is a pygmy of your ingratiation. For billions of years, there was no money on this planet. Guess who introduced it? The reptoids. It was a while in coming. It only began to actually evolve as a concept about, let's just say, 3,000 years ago. It didn't even get really popular until about 1,000 years ago. And then came the concept of lending money with interest and the creation of a whole new concept. And then came digital money. It is not a step forward. Okay, here is the step forward. Resource-based economy. There's a lot of good information in here. A lot of good ideas. It's not perfect, but it's the best anyone has ever come up with so far. One step towards the dissolution of money is a global unit, a unified dollar, whatever, doesn't matter what you call it. That is definitely a step in the right direction. When we have 200 different currencies every day, and one of them is so strong, and every day, bullshit, 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 bullshit. Flatten it. One currency. No exchange rates. It's all bullshit. It's all completely illusion anyway, but all that is all total fucking bullshit. Huge, 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 huge step. And the euro started out as a wonderful example, but then, ego. Anyway. Bashar, keep coming back to him, says that in the next 10 years or so, we'll start moving towards Jacques Fresco's ideas. Ah, Jacques, ahead of his time. Who are these beings who came in and rent asunder the original plans for Earth? Who are these space beings we sometimes refer to as the dark T-shirts? Be kind when you speak of the forces of darkness. Do not speak as if they were bad. Simply understand that they were and are uninformed. Actually, they're just choosing to believe lies. And they create systems that are uninformed because that is how they believe they must operate. They fought at one time and separated themselves from the light. So now they desperately hold on to their existing knowledge and on to life as they have evolved into being. Their life is based on fear. Their life does not honor other life. Their life uses other life. Who are these beings? They are the reptiles. These space beings are part human and part reptilian. We call them the Lizzies because we like to make things a little less emotional and a little humorous so that you don't take them so seriously and get so upset. You are under a delusion if you believe that you always incarnate as human beings. That would be like eating dinner at the same restaurant your whole life and then saying, I know everything about food. That is foolishness. The soul can reincarnate into any physical being. We have all experimented with being the bad guy. We have all been reptilians. We are all reptilian. It is part of our DNA. We all have the reptile brain, it is called by science. It is at the base of our brain stem. It is the earliest part of our brain to develop. It is our most primal instincts. And if you picture, let's just say, a crocodile or an alligator laying in the swamp, calmly thinking, yes, I'm getting hungry, and oh, here comes some deer down to the water to drink. I'm just gonna lay here, and then yum, 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 eat some deer. That's part of all of us. We've all got that energy in us. The reptile brain is the part of our brain that processes smell also. And as we were talking about vibrations last time in that movie, The Matrix, they let in a little clue there with Agent Smith when he said,
it's the smell, if there is such a thing. I feel saturated by it. I can taste your stink. Every time I do, I fear that I've somehow been infected by it. It's repulsive, isn't it?
So again, that movie was giving some good information about vibration, but they, in typical reptilian fashion, bludgeoned us with so much violence and shame. They want you to feel shame for even having a sense of smell. Walking down the street, if you smell some certain foods, you have an uncontrollable response. The sense of smell is the most intimate smell. The first thing we smell, well, I was going to say is our mother, but most of us smell hospital smell, sterilized, and those machines that go ping, and people in masks. That's a huge part of what the reaction to that whole mask thing we've been doing in the past 3-4 years. Birth fright. All right? That's the reaction people have to masks. They were terrorized in the first few seconds of their breathing life by people in masks. That's the real reason people resist them. Creator gods take many forms, and they are not all Lizzies. There are creator gods who are insect-like, mantis-like. We Pleiadians are associated with the creator gods that are bird-like and reptilian. Bashar has recently told us that our reptilian creator gods no longer exist in those forms. They evolved into the Lyrans and Pleiadians, among other beings. The various creator gods are connected to you. They told us in chapter 1 that our DNA came from many, 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 many sources. Some creator gods created life just to have it take care of themselves or meet their needs. They have fed off your emotions. One of the big secrets that has been kept from you as a species is the richness and wealth that accompanies emotion. You have been steered away from exploring emotion because through emotion you can figure things out. Your emotions connect you with the spiritual body. The spiritual body, of course, is non-physical, existing on the multidimensional sphere. Once you understand the proper use of emotion and begin to get control over your own frequency, you will be able to broadcast love. Then you will not feed the frequency of fear to this plane of existence. When enough of us move into the ground floor of love, we will starve the remaining entities that eat fear. When we, as a species, raise our vibration to that of love and stop projecting fear, we will stop feeding those entities that eat fear, and they will go away. They have to. When you operate in a vibration of fear, you are feeding those entities. We have been doing that for thousands of years, and they got fat. And that's fine. But it's just about over now. Doubt, worry, concern, okay? All of that connected to money as well, right? Yep. Money feeds the reptilians. Greed. Even really, really rich people are feeding the reptilians with their greed. Greed is a misuse of the third chakra, okay? And fear is the misuse of the root chakra, which is worry and doubt and concern. Even the lower levels of stress are all related to fear, and it's all feeding the Lizzies. All right? So stop feeding them. Just raise your vibration, experience love, have unconditional trust that you are taken care of no matter what happens. Then nothing truly traumatic can ever happen to you. Within the Lizzie population, there are those who are benevolent and those who are malevolent. Now, I also need to say that within the Pleiadian, within every single existing group, there are some You cannot hear the word Pleiadian and think heavenly. All right? You have to use your discernment at all times. All right. Something's been on my mind lately. And I need to talk about it a little bit. There's a very popular system lately of measuring personality, or birthdays really, personality. And it pretends to be about genes or some type of design of humans. And I've had my charts done on both of those, and they're quite confusing and awkward looking, and they require an enormous amount of study, and you need to buy lots of books or pay a lot of money to have one person explain it to you, and they will try to get you to buy other books and things. And there can be wonderful information. I got some good information out of it, but here's what I need to say. I've studied it, and if you listen to this video right here, you will hear the creator of both of those systems, because the genetic one is really just a little remix of the design one, okay? I'm sure you know that. Now, if you listen to this video, you will hear the creator say,
and at the same moment, I heard a voice. It wasn't pleasant as a voice. I kind of imagined it as the voice of a cigar-smoking 155-year-old woman. It was quite a voice.
So, this is a message to all of you who are experimenting with channeling or bringing in entities or information. If any of them sound like a 150-year-old chain-smoking grandmother, maybe that's not the entity you want to hang out with, okay? I'm just saying. One thing you always must do is establish your boundaries, protect yourself, even though you're not in any actual danger, because you are a holy hologram, a sacred fractal, a divine spark of God-sciousness, and nothing truly bad can ever happen to you, ever. However, when an entity approaches you, you have the right to demand they reveal themselves to you. You must say, "Who are you?" And if they are evasive at all, you can banish them completely. That obviously did not happen in this case. And one of the things that led me to do this research was finding out that the way it all breaks down is extremely unbalanced. And because I am here to reinforce the supreme balance of this system, and harmony, and interconnection, and equality, everyone on this whole thing is completely connected and equal to everyone else. So then I find out there's this huge imbalance here of percentages of people. And then there's the whole issue of the black side, which is all based on regular 12-house astrology, by the way. And there's so many issues right now with sidereal versus tropical, and then, of course, the 13th sign, and the whole storyline that says it's actually the toxic male priests in Egypt who were the same toxic male priests from Atlantis who forced the 12 houses into the reality of people, forcing out the 13th, and in so doing basically killed the goddess religions. That's all part of 12-house astrology as far as I'm concerned. And then you've got these peculiar percentages, 36%, 32%, 22%, 9%, and 1%. Those imbalances to me are very imbalanced. And what we must recognize is that there are non-physical entities that are trying very hard to unbalance us. There are other entities who, let's just call them the false light. They have been called fourth dimensional, lower astral beings who can walk into a person and take over, as it were, or even just in a moment of channeling can come in temporarily or for a much longer time. The way the false light works is to overwhelm you with information, and a lot of it might be true because they're very clever and they like to give lots of tantalizing tidbits that are actually true, and then they put the poison in there too. And this is not a new phenomenon. It's been done for thousands of years. However, what I'm telling you is this might be billions of years old. And it never skips a day. It can't possibly skip a day. That would be silly. And it's a spiral. All right. Had to get that off my chest. Today is Transcending Wise One. It is cosmic consciousness of wisdom and truth. I just had to come through. It's just my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but I do know it is truly my belief, beyond belief. I don't even believe it. I know it beyond doubt of questioning. For me, I do know that those things that I just said to you are completely true for me. Whatever. Within the Lizzie population, there are those who are benevolent and those who are malevolent. Why are we telling you all this? Why do you need to know it? You need to know it because the Lizzie reality is re-entering and merging with your dimension. Part of your evolutionary leap in consciousness is not simply to go into love and light and eat ice cream sundaes every day. Rainbows and unicorns, yay! You must comprehend how complex reality actually is, how many different forms of reality there are, and how they are all you. Een Lak'esh alakim. I am, you are God-sciousness. There are no separate beings. Everything is one. All is one. You are in a body temporarily to look out through this face, this facet of a diamond of God-sciousness consciousness. But you are everything. We are. If you judge anyone, you are judging yourself. If you say, they're bad, I don't like them, you lose. Because you are saying, I am bad, you don't like yourself. All right? However, we have discernment. We can say, I don't like that thing in my mouth, so I'm not going to eat it. I don't like that smell. I'm going to move to where I don't need to smell it. Oh, I don't like watching that. Change the channel. All right. Life is really simple when you think about vibration. Everything is vibration. That is all. Everything is energy. Everything is vibration. That is all. You must make peace with the Lizzies and merge with them to create an implosion of the fractals of your soul. In this way, and in only this way, you can come back to Prime Creator consciousness. It is also called non-duality or oneness. It's not just a concept, y'all. You are going to be faced with many opportunities to judge many things and label them as bad, and to separate and to divide and conquer. That's how they've operated all along. That's why in this country there's only two options, and if you're on one side you have to hate the other, and they all hate each other, and their only job of the politicians is to keep division mandatory. The only job of the mass media is to keep fear being rammed down your throat. And once in a while, put a little feel-good story in there. Turn it off. Turn it all off. Ignore. The creator gods of ancient times are being drawn back here at this time because of the divine plan. They must participate in it and understand that their frequencies also are going to be changed. The Lizzies are resisting this, just as many humans are resisting, because we are all Lizzies. All of our DNA is influenced by the Lizzies. We all have reptilian DNA in every single human being. The creator gods of the last 300,000 years have forgotten who created them. They have forgotten their creator gods. As members of the family of light, you have not forgotten. Maybe we haven't quite remembered all of the necessary details, but we don't need to. Light is underestimated on this planet by the reptilians. They underestimate you. Even in their own dark brilliance, they have many blind spots. They can't even see light. They can't even see love. They don't even actually recognize love or understand that love exists. They don't understand the soul. Even though they're quite expert at reincarnating into the same bloodlines. The creator gods are coming back to raid you again because they don't want to starve. They understand that there is a system busting going on through the family of light. So they are here to create greater havoc and fear, to fight once again for this territory. Their food source is important to them. They eat fear, and they are losing control of this planet. The original planners wish to bring divine sovereignty and freedom of choice back to this planet. The Lizzies, who have been in charge for the last period of human evolution, use fear to block freedom of choice. They rob your psychic energy by giving you a false picture of reality in every way that you could possibly imagine. And we are not saying that that is good or bad. It just is. It was temporary. Time as we know it does not exist. We're just playing things out. We are experimenting. We are projecting our emotions out into the noosphere, which then also goes out everywhere. We, the Pleiadians, play the same game of programming your reality. If you look back and see what we have done, have we not purposely set up a plan of frequency modulation for you? Only by page 35, they're telling us this. Have we not enticed you and convinced you that you have free will so that you could choose to vibrate at a certain frequency? Bashar is also doing this. Yeshua has done it a couple of times. Jacques Fresco did this with the creation of the concept of a resource-based economy. Idea seeds. Oh, we're almost done, my friends. See, that's the end. Remember that identity as a frequency is the sum total of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies broadcast as electromagnetic pulsations. I'm going to read that again. Remember that identity. Remember that your identity is a frequency that is the sum total of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies broadcast as electromagnetic pulsations. your identity, your birthday, the day that you took your first breath, is quite possibly the exact same day that your sperm and egg came together. 260? Quite possible. Oh yes, one other thing. The 4 colors of the glyphs are physical for the red, spiritual for the white, emotional for the blue, and the thinking body. Some call it the mental body, but I think that's mental, so I call it the thinking body. We all have all 4. Yes, we are born on one of the glyphs, and that creates our primary processing modality. Me, emotions. That's how I process everything, primarily. And at the same time, I am very physical. That's because everyone who's born on blue has red for their divine feminine, divine masculine. So I am very physical and emotional. And I am also very mental and extremely spiritual. We all are. We all have all 4. And I will gladly, more than gladly, explain that for you. If you email me, I will give you your free empowerment circle. And I will tell you your free step family. I call them step family for a reason. You could call them your 4-pillar family. What that represents is north, south, east, and west. You could call it your news family. Those other 3 glyphs, other than your Mayan embodiment glyphs, are your exemplars for the other bodies. So I happen to be in the 5, 10, 15, 20 grouping, which means I have the serpent additionally for my physical. And I have the dog, which is also the raccoon, and the coyote and the wolf for my spiritual, energetic patterning. And I have Ahau, the sun god, the blowgun hunter, as my thinking body exemplar. If you don't know your Mayan embodiment and your step family, you don't really know yourself. Okay? You should know every possible one. You should know your Chinese birthday. I'm an earth monkey. Yay!
Here's my gene keys. Take a look.
Here's my human design. Have at her. Here's my 12-house astrology. We should all know all of these, and we should use our discernment. That is all. Now, a little bit more in here. Just going to read that again. Remember that your identity as a frequency is the sum total of your physical, thinking, emotional, and spiritual bodies. Broadcast as electromagnetic pulsations. That is your personal, you could say, signature. Okay? It is your DNA. It is your spiritual DNA. This is your spiritual DNA. part of it. There will come a time when each of you will move beyond the steps that we are leading you through at this time. Another energy will be able to say, well, when the Pleiadians were showing you this, it was very good. They led you here and there. Now, let us take you further. That might not be for a couple thousand years, and maybe a dozen more incarnations. We don't know. There is no stopping the evolution, for there is nothing that has been given to the planet that represents the ultimate in truth or evolution. Evolution never stops. Okay? Every single moment in time that you can slide along that timeline is the highest point of evolution at that time. As you summon the story of your reptilian past, you will find that many of the influential characters in this patriarchal system of history have indeed been a part of the reptile family. Just as all humans are not bad, it is the same with the reptilians. Yay! They are no less a part of Prime Creator than you. There have been many other creator gods, only some of which have had human form. Presently, your greatest state of unrest or discomfort comes from beings of the reptilian type of existence, because they seem to be the most foreign and the most hateful controllers of you. It has been our intention to expand your ideas of who your gods are, because those gods will be returning to Earth. As you learn to hold the frequencies coming from the creative cosmic rays, the photon belt that the Maya charted, you will be prepared to meet these gods. All that means is as you raise your vibration, which means as you decrease the amount of fear that is even possible to be experienced by you, you will be preparing to meet your creator gods and any other extraterrestrials. As we have said, some of them are already here. They walk your streets and participate in your academies, your government, and your workplaces. You must understand how to discern the extraterrestrial energies. This is a free will universe, so all forms of life are allowed here. You have a choice of who you work with. Just because someone has evolved many fantastic and seemingly magic abilities does not necessarily mean that that entity is spiritually evolved, especially if they rely on only the right-handed, left-brained logic, and they go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about all these facts, many of which are contradictory. Ignore that vibrational archetype. The gods are here. You are those gods. As you awaken to your history, you will begin to open your ancient eyes. These are the eyes of Horus, which see not through the eyes of a human, but from the point of view of a god. When you open the ancient eyes within yourselves, you will not only be able to connect with your own whole personal history, you will be able to connect with the planetary history, the galactic history, and the universal history. Then indeed, you will find out who your gods are. I just want to do a little humble brag here. There's my Mayan birthday. About 22 years ago, I designed this and had it tattooed on there because I somehow knew that the Maya and the Egyptian was two versions of the same thing. Wow. So yeah, that's what's going on. That was chapter 3. Woo-hoo-hoo! Thanks for hanging in there, my friend. All of my love unconditionally goes to all of you. Honestly. All of my unconditional forgiveness goes to all of us. Honestly. And my unconditional trust that everything is perfect every single time is unshakable. Een Lak'esh Namaste.